Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm going to be revisiting one of my favourite models, the Aurora RC Mini Fight. Now, up until recently, if you'd have asked me what was my favourite ready-to-fly, buy-and-fly, plug-and-fly micro, I'd have said the full-speed Leader 120. However, when I reviewed this guy, I thought it was just a little bit better having a micro CCD camera and the ability to carry a 3-cell battery whilst retaining a decent size prop of 2.5 inches. And in a couple of days' time, I'm hopefully going to be giving one of these away, so check back for that. But the reason why I'm going to revisit it is when I did my original review, I assumed that the RX pin on the VTX was for a S-bus signal, and the reason I assume that is the original B-Fight, so the 5-inch one, it had that, and it was a pain, so you could change the VTX channel off a switch, but if you got a failsafe, then it would change your VTX channel and you'd crash, and that was no good. However, apparently, the RX pin on this guy is actually TRAMP protocol. So I'm going to see if I can hook it up to a spare UART and see if we can get the TRAMP protocol working so that I can control the VTX through the on-screen display. Okay, so I've taken the frame apart so I can get to this stack, and it looks like it's going to be really easy. So this is the VTX here, and it's using a 1mm pitch JST connector. So all I need to do is find a pre-crimped wire that will fit a 1mm pitch JST. I've got one here. I can just remove this white cable here and that will just fit into there. So it's going to go on the 3rd pin along and just slot in there. And then if we look at the flight controller, I really like this about this flight controller. Look, everything just connects direct, so no soldering required here. So we've got the VTX going in there, we've got the camera, the receiver, and the ESC board, and also the LED board, all on these connectors. And then we've got 2 spare UARTs here, so all I've got to do is solder the RX pin here onto the TX of one of these UARTs. So that's UART 1, that's UART 2, we've got TX, RX, and TX and RX, so I can pick one of these spare TX pads there and solder it on, and then I might actually, as a treat, use the other UART for the telemetry of a RXSR, because I really like this model, but a weak point of it is definitely going to be this D8 receiver here, so I want a little bit more range, and I bought a few of these RXSR receivers and I'm not really going to use them because I don't use telemetry that much, but this is an opportunity to try that out. So I'm going to put all that together, and then I'll have to go into Betaflight and change the peripheries on the UARTs to get that all set up. So the first thing to do is to remove the borrowed wire from another JST connector. So I'm just lifting that up, and I'm going to borrow this white wire and then place it into the JST connector on the VTX, the 3rd pin along. I'm then going to place that into the TX pad on the UART 1, and I'm going to solder that in so that we can control the power through the on-screen display. Then I'm going to take the telemetry wire from the RXSR, and that's on the TX pad of the UART 2. Okay, so the Betaflight setup should be pretty straightforward. If we go into the port, you can see that we've got the 3 UARTs there, and on UART 1 I have got the TRAMP protocol selected, and then I've added the RXSR, so I've got the smart port on the UART 2, and this is the latest RXSR, so I don't need to invert the telemetry, it should just work. And I should say, by the way, this should also work on the Fury B Geniuser. It's got the same VTX as well. And just something that I've done for the RXSR is I've turned telemetry on over here as well, so that I can do the Lua scripts and things like that. Okay, so the last thing to do is to plug a battery in and check that everything is working. And I'm just going to move the copter over to the other side of the room because it'll lose the telemetry like it has done there. So Another thing that I have done is I went into Betaflight, and on the on-screen display I put the VTX channel up there, so you can see R, that stands for race band, and then 7, that's the channel, and 2, that's the power output. So it looks like it's working already, and I'm just going to put the throttle in the middle, and I think it's pitch fully forward, and then is it rudder or yaw to the left? There we go. Then I'm going to want to go into features, and then we want to go down to the TRAMP. And I know it's working anyways, but of course this is where we can change everything. So we've got pit mode there, and if I want to change the band I can do so. So if I want Fatshark there, and also where it says the channel, so I usually run on Fatshark channel 1. And the power output, I'm going to stick down to 25, and then I want set, and then yes, and then it should just disappear throughout the goggles. So there you go, that is working. And I can also check as well whether my telemetry is working. So I've already installed the Lua scripts, so if I go onto the menu there and long press it, so you can see that on script, I've got BF, so I've installed the Betaflight Lua script in the scripts folder on the SD card. So if I press exit out of there, I've also discovered the sensor, so yeah, I should probably mention that as well. So you need to do that. So you can see I've got all my sensors in there. So you need to make sure you do that after you have set telemetry up. And it sounds like my battery's going, so I'll just long press the page button so you can see the PIDs, so that's all working there as well. But I'm going to unplug the battery because it's gotten too low. But there you go, that is my video on how to unlock the VTX capabilities of the Aurora RC Mini Fight and also the Fury Geniuser or Genie User. Now, I'm not going to be able to do any flying today because we have a blizzard snowstorm, and it's why there hasn't been so much content on the channel, but hopefully next week that is going to change. And of course, look out for the giveaway that I'm going to be doing on this guy as well, and hopefully if you win you'll be able to do these modifications, because I think there are some GearBest promotions coming up at the end of March, so the giveaway is going to be in conjunction with that. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.